my biggest pet peeve is when people record a video whilst they're driving and they just literally stare at the camera. They keep looking. I feel like it's hard enough as is to drive. What's going on, guys? Matt here, back again with another video. We are heading to the Melbourne Card Fair at the moment. It's been 3 months, I think, since the last one. It seems like they're running them every quarter, which is good for us in Melbourne because we get to experience another card show. So this one, obviously, if you haven't watched my previous one, this one is a little bit different to the hobby hangout that seems to be the most popular one. The card fair seems to be a bit more AFL based, but they are getting a little bit more NBA. And if you guys watched my previous vlog on it, I actually had a really good time at it. I felt like there was a little bit more space and had a bit more freedom to roam around and do that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited today to get down. So on top of the Melbourne Card Fair and the Hobby Hangout, I've actually seen that there's a third Melbourne Card Show. I think it's actually called the Melbourne Card Show, and it's in January 2023. Looks like it's going to be in Cranbourne, so we might even have a third card show down in Melbourne. I don't mind that. With competition, it does promote growth, and I feel like compared to the first time I did go to the Melbourne Card Fair, this is way better than where it was initially. So in terms of what I'm buying today, what I'm looking for, as I said, this is very AFL based, so I do want to get into AFL cards. If you've watched my content, I am starting to record a little bit more AFL content. With the AFL off season currently ongoing, it's probably a great time to start buying and preparing for next season. Wouldn't mind getting some PC stuff if it's in terms of like Richmond stuff like that. I also recently got my Dustin Martin draft, which is one of my Grail cards, so I don't need to be looking for that anymore. Now I can just finally enjoy and start looking for some more low-end cards. But yeah, if there's some NBA deals to be had, I'm willing to buy, and yeah, we're just gonna have some fun today. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, so we're gonna get down and enjoy it. It's meant to be stormy later on, so we're currently blessed with everything going on, so let's take you in for the journey.
This is a very little production.
Alright guys, we are back from the Melbourne Card Fair. Another great show today. Before we get into my pickups, I'll speak a little bit about the event itself. So in comparison to last time, it's gotten a little bit bigger. I saw a few more tables. There wasn't as much space as last time, but it was still enough space for, to get around and look at your cards. I also did see a little bit more NBA as well as other sports like baseball, NFL, UFC, WWE as well. So they are diversifying in terms of sports there as well. I think one of the big pluses with the Melbourne Card Fair is how accessible Shane has made it for everyone. And by making it accessible, I'm talking about making the ticket prices relatively low. If you want to pre-book your tickets, it's only $6 beforehand, $10 at the door, and kids under 15 get to go in for free. From what I gather as well, setting up a table is much cheaper compared to other events, so it's also a big draw card if you want to sell some of your cards as well. Now, I was only there for about a couple of hours, which may not seem like a lot of time in comparison to being at like the hobby hangout where you're there for the whole day, but I think it's almost a bit of a good thing because you're almost there just to look at cards primarily itself versus almost everything around that's sort of happening at the Hobby Hangout, for example. And I'm not going to complain about the guest speakers that the Hobby Hangout gets because I think it's also a great thing for them. But I think when you go to the Melbourne Card Fair, there's no guests or anything like that. It's always a great thing because there's no distractions and you're really there to look at cards, get around, and do your thing. So if you're a sports card collector and you want to get around and feel like you're not being rushed for time, go through everyone's collections and see what they're selling. I think the Melbourne Card Fair works out perfectly if you really want to do that. All right, let's go straight into my pickups. I'll try to remember who I bought them off and give them a bit of a shout out, but apologies if I forget anyone's Instagrams or stuff like that. It's always hard to remember all that sort of stuff, but yeah, let's get straight into it. So very first purchase I made was from Cardboard Magic. I know that was his store name. I don't know if he's got an Instagram or anything like that, but got a Rudy Tomjanovich rookie card. Who played for Houston. He was actually coach of Houston, so I am a Houston fan. I just thought it was a really cool card. It's vintage. It's I got it for $8. I know the sticker tag does say $10, but yeah, he was a solid Houston player, and then he ended up coaching Houston to our only 2 championship wins, and just seeing it there. Vintage card plus being a Houston legend, had to pick that one up. Next one's courtesy of OzTwins_NBA cards. They had a bunch of really, really nice NBA cards. I didn't see them at the last Melbourne Card Fair. Might have been their first time setting up, but they had some really nice cards. I think it added to the amount of NBA that's being added on to the Melbourne Card Fair, so really, really good thing for them. These folks are really nice. They had a bunch of cards they were trying to get rid of. And they were basically just saying, make an offer with all these sort of cards. So we ended up doing a package deal on some cards that I really liked. Very first card, so total for this whole lot was $95. First card up, LeBron James jersey card. Funny story with this one, because they were, I mean, not against them, they were saying themselves, they weren't too organized in terms of their cards. They basically had cards everywhere they were trying to get rid of. But this card itself was behind a Mitchell Robinson Obsidian, which was a short printed card, a parallel. And I pulled out the Mitchell Robinson and it was in top loader. I flipped it around, there was a LeBron James on the back, and I looked at it and it said game worn jersey, and I was like, geez, someone could easily do a dodger here, buy this Mitchell Robinson card for, I don't know, $10, $15, and then actually have the LeBron James at the back. And I told them that, and yeah, they were just saying that they basically haven't had time to pull out everything. So, no, it was good. It was organized chaos, but great to get this one in first up in the $95 lot. Next card included in that lot, Wendell Carter Jr. I know I've been relatively high on him, maybe a little bit too high on him. I think I've got to come down a little bit now, but his playoff ticket, his contenders auto, this is out of 35, so very short printed. I think this was around the $15 to $20 range at what we valued at. And then the last 2 cards of the same player, mentioned him in my breakout video from last season, but OG Anunoby, $25 for this one. This is the Prism Fast Break Auto, and then the Prism Base Auto, $20. So love OG Anunoby. With Pascal Siakam out for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to see him potentially averaging 20 points per game because once Siakam goes out, he seems to perform quite well. He's averaging around 17 points a game at the moment, which is quite good. But yeah, I think he's a very solid player that doesn't get spoken about a fair bit. Very good 2-way wing, which is what everyone in the NBA craves. All right, third lot of purchases up. I've probably spent the most amount of time at these 2 sellers' stalls. Cardboard Kings, I did purchase from them from the last Melbourne Card Fair. I got the Hugh McCluggage ×2 Future Force signatures, but they had a bunch of AFL cards, and I was flicking through them last time, and I felt like I was kind of rushed, but this time around I was like, I'm going to spend as much time as I can here to look for players that I think will be viable options for next season. And yeah, we were able to work out some deals. So don't look at the sticker price too much because sticker price was around $130 total. We got it down to $110. So I guess with everything that you look at the moment, probably remove about 15%. First card up, Will Brodie, Future Force, $10 for this one out of 200. Solid player. He ended up going to Fremantle. It was almost the bargain pick of the Supercoach season, but very solid player in their inside midfield. Still a very young player, and $10, I was happy to fork that out. Probably the most controversial trade of the most recent AFL trade period. Jack Burrows to the Geelong Footy Club, who just won the premiership. People were saying, you know, they're getting pick 7 along with Jack Burrows. And I think it'll be a very solid play for them. So yeah, Jack Burrows, 2 of his Future Force signatures, $10 each, a bit of a very cheap value play. Could be a solid player for Geelong. I'm not sure where he fits into their team because their team's still quite good, but with Joel Selwood going out and potentially a few other players in the next few years, could be fitting into their midfield hopefully. All right, next card up, Ben Keys, $10 for this one. It's his Future Force signature. Ben Keys carried my Supercoach team last season. His work rate is ridiculous. Unfortunately, in the second half of the season or the last third of the season, he got moved to the half-forward flank, so ended up hurting his Supercoach value, but ended up trading him out. But $10 for this. He's one of the better players in the Adelaide midfield. Hopefully he does go back into the midfield. I'm not sure what their coach is wanting to do with him, but $10 for that one. Yeah, not bad. Next two cards are relatively big. We'll go with this one first. Josh Dunkley, $40 for this one. Inside midfielder Bull, who was on the Western Bulldogs, has won a premiership already, and has gone traded to the Brisbane Lions. So they've probably got the best midfield right now in the AFL, and I think Brisbane will go quite well. Yeah, as a Richmond fan, I can safely say that, but $40 for this one, 50 out of 200 for this one. But yeah, really like Josh Dunkley, one of the better inside midfielders, and hopefully he does get to play pure inside midfield compared to the Doggies where he was floating up forward. And then the very last one, Harry Mackay, who's won a Coleman medal already. Still relatively young with Charlie Curnow in that Carlton forward line, as much as I hate Carlton. But yeah, $50 for this one. This one is low numbered as well. It's 4 out of 200. So AFL cards, for some reason, they like to prioritise low numbered cards. I'm still learning that. I'm not against it, but yeah, 4 out of 200 for this one. Harry Mackay. Don't know how they're going to go next season. Carlton Footy Club, they're going 24 rounds this season. Maybe it's an extra game for them to potentially lose so they don't make the final 8. But yeah, Harry Mackay there. All right, so very last two cards that I purchased. I forgot his name, but he was the one that has the really, really nice cards. If you watch my footage over again, he had the quad autograph. He had the Victor Oladipo 1 of 1 Prism, very random, but that was in there. He had the Kobe Prism Auto 1 of 1 as well. But yeah, worked out another deal with him because in the last card fair, I did end up getting a few cards off him that were at solid value. Very first card, Zion Williamson, Don Russ jersey. It's not game worn, it's event worn, unfortunately. But yeah, the total value of this deal was $90. So $90 for this one. Sorry, $95 for this one total. So I'd say this one was valued at around $15. Or maybe a little bit less. And then the very last card, my favourite purchase that I've done from the whole Melbourne Card Fair. And yeah, really, really happy with this one. The triple jersey, got this one for $80, so we'll say that's about right in terms of sticker price. Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, and Blake Griffin. I mean, it's out of 99, but I know Blake Griffin kind of throws it off. But very solid 3, triple jersey of 3 players. Yeah, really, really like this one. I love when they combine, really, really great players. And I think Kobe and Durant sort of can cancel out Blake Griffin. I know players that aren't as great can sort of bring the card value down, but I think with the other 2 players being relatively iconic, and it's not like Blake Griffin's not a bad player, it's more the fact that he's been really injury prone, his game's regressed over the past 4 or 5 years, that he isn't relying on his athleticism as much anymore, unfortunately, but that's all part of it. But really like this card, my favourite pickup of the day. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the vlog and me discussing what I thought of the Melbourne Card Fair as well as my recent pickups. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button down below, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe down below as well. I highly encourage any of you guys, if you're in Melbourne, to attend the next Melbourne Card Fair. They seem to be doing it every quarter, so every 3 months, and with each show I've gone to, it seems to expand more and more. And yeah, I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you guys all in future videos. Take care.